Hi guys and welcome to Mentorite Financial. My name is Ali Taufik. Welcome once again, and here we are, the money game part 3, a continuation from where we stopped the last time. Of course, I promised you that I was going to do a part 3 of the rules of the money game. Now, if you have been following right from the part 1, you will understand that this part 2, the part 2 and part 3 are the step-by-step breakdown of the rules of the game of money. And in case you are seeing it for the first time, kindly go back and watch the part 1 and the part 2 so you can be in tune with the part 3. However, you can just go ahead, watch this till the end, then go back and watch the other ones. Welcome, and if it's your first time, please subscribe to this channel, share and like our videos. Welcome, and I'm glad to have you here. Now we're going to continue from where we stopped the last time. We spoke about 4 things that we need to take care of, and these 4 things were the rules of the games that, if well played, if well understood, will enhance our financial understanding. Now here we are going to continue. Number 5 of the rules of the money game requires that you understand where you're coming from and where you are headed. Now, what do I mean by this? As an individual, you need to understand what your history is, where you are coming from. Look, to be candid with us, someone who has been born and raised in a poor family might not have the same leverage as those who had it all figured out for them. Well, in case you don't know, there are people who may become rich by inheritance, people who may become rich by chance. Maybe they win a lottery, but chances are 1 out of 100 or 1,000. So it's not even something to think about. And of course, people can also become wealthy by marriage. But in all of these things I have mentioned, whether by inheritance or by lottery or by marriage, you still need financial understanding to maintain them. However, what I am really trying to point at is this: if you are born and raised, in a poor home, it's really more difficult to pull yourself out than someone who has it figured out for them. You see, this person can get help. This person seems to have leverage. They can easily get things that you may have to put in several years to work for. Now, you cannot compare yourself. So understand your journey. Understand the amount of work you need to do as an individual. You see, the person you envy probably only needs a phone call to get things done, to get what he or she needs. But in your own case, you may have to work for years to get this thing. So they are not quite the same. And it does not mean that you are unfortunate. It's just a peculiar situation, and we can count several people who have raised themselves from nothing to becoming millionaires and billionaires. And I am saying that if these people can do it, you too can do it. But you need to understand, you need to have that clarity, you need to know that your journey is different from any other person's journey. Your case is peculiar, and you need to treat it as a peculiar one. So you are not going to look at someone. Of course, there's some rules, some things are general and applicable to everybody when it comes to the money game. But our journey, how we achieve it, are not always the same. But no matter how much they differ, they are always going to have a common denominator. And of course, all of that we are going to talk about. But you need to start by understanding this fact that your journey is a different one because of your own kind of peculiar background. You need to understand it and you need to be ready for it and you need to put in the work. That is the only thing that will save your sanity as you journey through the game of money. Number 6, you need to make a decision. Make that decision and be very firm by the decision you make. Now, sometimes some of these things are not easy. Some of these decisions don't come easy. They can be very painful. Sometimes you need to just close your eyes to some things and make that decision. But unless you're willing to make that odd decision or that decision that seems odd, that's decision that no one seems to want to make, take that path that no one seems to take and endure the pain that no one seems to want to endure. You will always be with the pack. And sometimes it means that you are going to walk alone. But then, whatever happens, make your decision and stand by it and be firm with the understanding that there are going to be a time when you may have to walk alone. There's going to be a time when you may have to carry your pain and endure it alone. And there's going to be a time when you're going to be lonely. But guess what? If you already understand ahead of time what lies before you, then there'll be no need to be surprised when they start to happen. But I assure us that at the end of it, you'll be proud you did. You see, in the journey, especially, like I said, if you come from a background where you didn't have it all figured out for you, it's not going to be a miracle. Don't deceive yourself. Don't let us deceive ourselves. You need to put in the work and make the decision and be very firm. Sometimes you even have people mock you for taking certain decision. But if you understand why you're doing what you're doing, well, it's only a matter of time before you start to show result and your result will speak for you. Number 7, understand that anyone at all can be wealthy. So wealth is not exclusively for certain people in the society. It is not someone's inheritance or right. Anyone at all, irrespective of who you may be, your background, your religion, can be wealthy if they do what the wealthy people do, or they know what the wealthy people know. So disabuse your mind of this thing about the rich getting rich. Anyway, we're going to talk about that and then find out why is it that the rich continue to get rich and the poor continue to get poor. Well, some of us think is an unfair advantage, but sometimes you want to look at it critically and then ask certain deep questions, make your research, and you will come to understand that it is not what we are made to believe. It's just a question of doing your own due diligence and then come to conclusion, based on the facts before you. So understand, know that you too can be wealthy. It is not impossible. In fact, your age does not matter, has nothing to do. So you're not too young to be wealthy, neither are you too old to be wealthy. It all depends on what you do, what you believe, and how strongly you believe in the fact that you too can believe it, you too can make it. And if you start today, even if you're 70 years old, if you start to do the right thing today, it is only a matter of time before it happens for you. So understand this. Anybody can be wealthy. Take that saying about wealth is meant for certain people. Do not belittle yourself. Do not abuse your mind. Change that belief, and then it will be a good place for you to start the journey towards accumulating wealth. Number 8, decide on your definition of wealth. What is your definition of wealth? How do you see wealth? Do you think that wealth is a tool to just oppress other people, or a tool with which you get luxuries and enjoy everything in life? How do you define wealth? What does it mean to you? What is your own meaning of wealth? I am not talking about the dictionary meaning. I am not talking about the meaning your professor probably have told you in the university. But as a personal belief, what is your conviction about wealth? What do you think about wealth? When you hear that word wealth, what does it mean to you? Do you have a definition for wealth? And if you have one, you want to check what is it. And if you don't, you want to find a definition for wealth, because it is your definition for wealth that will either make you go all out for it, or lag behind, sit, relax, and just think that it is meant for certain people, or only people who are bad, make wealth. Have a definition for wealth, and it will be your guide. Then number 9, set your objectives. Set your objective. You see, for someone who probably understand where he's coming from. Remember, we spoke about understanding where you are now, where you're from, and where you are headed. Now, for someone who understand all of this, he or she understand where he's from, where he is now, his or her present condition, and where he is headed. For someone who understands this person needs to set an objective. Now, what objective are you going to set? For example, you have a time when you must wake up, when you must go all out, when you must come back home. Now, the same thing, if you're from that kind of background where no one has ever dared to be wealthy before, and you are taking that bold step to want to ask questions, to want to break that chain and start the journey towards wealth creation, you know that it's not going to be easy, but it will help us if we have a set objective. Set your objective, the time, what you want to do, when you want to do it, and how you are going to do it. A lot of people tell you, in fact, it becomes a prayer point, we are going to succeed, we are going to have a lot of money. In fact, gather everyone in this world to do that prayer for you. Well, I am not saying that prayers don't work, but it's the large chunk of the job is still on you. So you need to set an objective. this is the time I want to start towards, working towards the journey of the accumulation of wealth. This is the amount of year I want to put in, and this is when I hope to start seeing results. So even if you want to delay gratification, you have invested somewhere, you want to compound, you give yourself a time limit. Sometimes the time, the target, the objectives you have given yourself determine how fast and hard you must work. If you don't have goals, you can always lag, move anywhere, and sometimes do nothing about it. So it's not enough to want it. It's not enough to desire it. You need to carefully have a plan on how, when, where you are going to make this happen for yourself. If we don't have this, then we are going to have a lot of trouble achieving the goal of the accumulation of wealth. And if you have a set objective, it makes the journey quite easy and fast because you will be focused. You will know what to do per time, when to do it, and how to do it. So let there be the how. When you think of the fact that you want to join this game of the accumulation of wealth, this money game, you must take care of the question about how, when, where. Where are you going to make this money? When are you going to make it? How are you going to make it? And you may have to answer this question today, but it is not mandatory that you start applying them, because the how may not come to you today. It might require that you learn a skill for a period of time, understand it and master that skill, be a master at it, before you can start earning something. But the fact that you know the how is already a leverage for you, is already a sign that you're serious about what you're doing. So if you come to tell me, well, I want to be financially free, I want to, and the question will be, what are you doing now? How are you going to go about it? And you'll be like, I don't know, I am believing that God will do it. Listen, God will not do it, right? Many of the time, it is the sins you bring before God that He helps you with. So you need to understand. I am trying to be very factual with us. You need to understand these things. Get yourself to do something. Take care of the how. And then the when. What time limit? And then the where. If you are in your village, can your village give you what you want? If you have to move, then move. So you need to take care of these things before you can talk about any other things, right? All right, number 9. Number 9 of the rules of the money game. Do you know how to keep things to yourself? So keep it to yourself. Now, there are too many people who will tell you, I want to do this. When I do this, A, B, C, I am going to be tickly rich. This is what they say, people are making money here. Like that, and then, it's not as if people are going to hurt you, at least those you know and can trust. But why talk about things to people who really can do anything to help you. Sometimes they can't even advise you. And sometimes you implicate yourself because you talk too much. Now, you now tell it to people who, instead of encouraging you, will tell you, so this is what you want to do. How on earth do you think you can become a millionaire by doing this thing you are talking about now? And they'll give you 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 examples of people who have done it and they didn't make it. In fact, some people will even give example of themselves because they have tried a thing and didn't make it. Therefore, they think that everybody who tried that same thing or who venture into that same business will not make it. In fact, these people will go ahead to make sure that they make it their duty to discourage you from doing it. So why not keep it to yourself? Except if you find like-minded people who understand the enormity of what you want to do, who have done it themselves. So they are not advising you from the perspective of someone who has failed. And even if they had failed before, this kind of person will not think that any other person cannot be successful at it simply because they have failed. No, because they have the field experience and they probably have learned their lessons and they know why they have failed. This person can be good enough to tell you what you need to do, what to watch out for, the black spot, and how to get there fast because they have been through it, they have learned their lessons, and they are now set to either bounce back again or move to something else. But if the people you talk to are not this type of people, keep it to yourself. That is not difficult to do. Keep it to yourself. Keep doing your job. Do not allow anyone to talk you out of it once you understand that you are on the right path. Keep doing it. Struggle hard. Sometimes it can be tempting. Sometimes we feel like talking to someone, but identify someone who understands very well the nature of what you want to do and the implication of their own input towards what you are trying to achieve, and then they tell you, what you may benefit from. They tell you the things that will encourage your journey. If not, just keep quiet. You understand, right? Okay, now number 10. Don't be lazy. There are too many people who want to change their money game, who even know these rules of the game of money, but are too lazy to do anything about it. Look, an average human can be lazy. Everyone, especially considering the fact that we are all human and the body likes to enjoy. Look, I am not blaming you. I am not saying that maybe there's something wrong with you because once in a while you feel lazy. It is natural for the body to want to enjoy, relax, and just have fun. But until you are in a position to do that, you can't have fun all the way and expect to be able to accumulate anything tangible when it comes to wealth accumulation. Now, I am not saying that we should not have fun, but now that you're trying, now that you're starting your journey, you need to keep it down. A time will come when you will be able to pay for all that, go on vacation outside of your comfort zone, travel out, go anywhere and buy any toy of your choice. But before that time, you need all the energy and time in this world to do the needful. So let's not be lazy. For many people, like I said before, it is not that they do not even know the rules. They know some of these things, but they can't just bring themselves to doing them. And sometimes it might even be the result of the kind of association they have, the kind of people they associate themselves with. And some people just tell themselves, it is my nature. No, it is not in your nature to be lazy. No one is born lazy. It is learned and we can unlearn it. You can learn to wake up early. You can learn never to procrastinate. You can learn to do what needs to be done as at the time it needs to be done. These things can be learned just as we learn to be lazy. So no one really can play by these rules if they are lazy about it. And one of the way these things happen is that we start to procrastinate. I'll do it today, I'll do it tomorrow, until 1 month will pass, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years will pass, and we find out that we have not done anything. And do you know the tricky thing about it is that they happen in a very subtle way that we hardly know or realize the fact that we are traveling backward instead of forward. So let's not be lazy. Let's go all out and do what needs to be done. You are not lazy, my friend. All right, number 11, face the reality. Number 11, face the reality. Now, there are times when we tend to think that some things are just beyond us. And we start to ask if there are easier ways. We start to even ask the question, why me? Why are these things happening to me? Am I the only, or some people even ask the questions about if God is being fair to them. Look, the truth remains that things are just the way they are. So instead of wallowing in self-pity, why not face the reality before you and do something tangible about it? Decide to get yourself out of it and be bold enough to want to face whatever it is that may come. And I tell you, once you decide to face it, you will find out that there are other people in that same condition. And these people are going to travel side by side with you. But until you decide, you may never know there is someone in that situation already. So you are never going to be alone. Stop complaining. Just face the reality. You know the truth already. So face it. Start asking the right question. Start talking to the right people. Start doing the right thing. And be bold and courageous enough to accept the reality before you now. And have hope that things are always going to change for better. The earlier we understand this, the better for us. Number 12, change your money belief. What is your money belief? What do you believe about money? Has someone told you money is evil? Has someone told you that no person can be genuinely rich without getting their hands dirty? Has someone told you that rich people are not religious? Has someone told you that they are usually involved in shady deals, a lot of beliefs that do not even, you cannot even explain yourself. In fact, some can even say that if it's in your destiny to be rich, that you are going to be rich anyway. Well, to some extent, it might be truth. But the thing is, if it's in your destiny to be rich and you are not doing the things that will bring riches to you, you will still be poor. Now, it's not going to be the fault of your destiny maker. It is your fault because you have refused to go all out for it. So what do you believe? Do you now sit down and wait that because you have this belief that if you are going to be rich, you'll be rich anyway, and do nothing? That's a wrong belief. So what do you believe? You probably know some of these other beliefs that I may not be able to mention here that we have about money. So start to think about it. No matter how popular they have become, why not sit yourself down? Think about it deeply. Do your own research. Find out how true these things are. How many people do you know who actually work with that belief? How many people who are actually victim? To what extent is this thing true? Educate yourself. Do not just go by hearsay or a popular belief and deny yourself of an opportunity to become better. So don't go with popular beliefs. So most popular beliefs are not always true. Take time to do your research, do your findings and due diligence, and make decision based on the facts you found during your research and fact finding. That is how to be sure about anything at all. Make sure you do your own fact finding and make conclusion, okay, based on what you have studied, based on what you know about that belief. We all do. We all have our money beliefs. I don't know what yours is, but I am saying whatever yours may be, make sure you ask questions. Find out how true these things are, and then make your make conclusion. Come to judge yourself based on what you now know or the new knowledge. That's how to become better, and do not just go by hearsay or popular belief. All right, number 13, wealth is a result. Wealth is a result. So wealth does not come simply because we desire it. It does not come simply because we talk about it. It is the result of hard work. It is the result of what we have done that's valuable to people that they are now willing to pay for. So what you get, what you term wealth, is the result of hard work, is the result of value offered, and not just some lucky inheritance from somewhere. It is not always the case that someone inherits money and become thickly rich. Maybe 1 out of 100 happens that way, or someone gets married and become thickly rich. Maybe 1 or 2 out of every 100. So put in the work and the result will show or speak for you. Money is a result, not just something that happened by chance. And number 13, decide what you want money for. You have to have a reason for wanting so much money. You have to have something that push you, that makes you wake up, that makes you work harder, that makes you want to delay gratification in order to have more of it? What is it that is pushing you? What is driving you? You have to have a reason for wanting more money. And number 14, money begets money. Money gives birth to money. Now here I want to talk about the fact that many of us believe that the economy, the country, and the way the wealth of a nation is shared is very unfair, because the rich keeps getting richer and the poor keeps getting poorer. Well, it is so because of this rule. Money begets money. Those who now have money, that have studied very well and have played by all these games or the rules of this game we have mentioned so far, understand how to continue to make more money because they know these rules. So they get to that point when they no longer have to struggle. They now have what they can send and put to work. So they only put their money to work. Their money now labor and work for them. They no longer have to be active. And some of us who may not have followed through their journey will think that they are being unfair. They just keep making money and keep the rich, keep the poor getting poorer. No, they only understand some of these rules and know very well how to apply them, and they are using them to their own advantage. Number 15, calculate the net return. Now, for everything you want to maybe buy or do or put money in some kind of project, you want to calculate the net return. Yes, everyone who is well-to-do, most of the time you ask them for to invest in certain things, and then they tell you they will get back to you. What they always do is to go back, do their homework, look at the net return. What will it cost me to put in so much money into this project, and what are the risks involved, and what will it bring back to us in the end? You want to compare the value. You want to look at the net return. In the end, what will it bring back? Yes, some of us want to just be that person who wants to show others that we can do it, but those who really care about their money do not care who thinks they can do it or not. All they want to hear or care about is the net return. Number 16, that you can pay for a thing does not mean that you can afford it. This is one bitter truth that a lot of us have not come to terms with. We might have the money to pay for a thing. You can pay for a car, for example, now. It does not mean that you can afford it. Imagine someone who has taken a loan and then decide to invest heavily, buy a car. If you're investing, of course, it will bring something back to you. So decide to buy a car now, and what they earn weekly or monthly cannot maintain this car. So you're looking at having something that you don't have to sweat through your nose to maintain. So you may have a lot of money now and you can pay for it, but does it really mean that you can afford it? If you buy the car and you cannot maintain it, you can't afford it. You only had the money to pay for it. Maybe because you collected money from some thrift or loan, or someone even gave you the money. So it does not mean that you can afford it if you cannot maintain it. In fact, there's this rule of 90-10 or so, that if you going to buy a thing and you do not have times 10 of the money to pay for that particular thing, think about it. If you're going to buy a car that's worth 1 million and you do not have 10 million in your account, I think that you can still not afford it, because after purchasing it, there are a lot of expenses that will come with it. So always ensure that you have at least times 10 or something thereabout of what you want to spend on a particular thing before you go for it. That way you will be able to maintain it effortlessly, and then life will even be easier, because a car should make life easy for you, right? It's a tool of effectiveness. But if this same car now starts to make you struggle every now and then to maintain it, then it's only a big trouble and not a tool of effectiveness, right? Number 17, separate price from value. So do not always look at things that because they are expensive, they must be very good. Look at the value. Is it valuable? Then attach it to the price. There are some things that can be very cheap and much more valuable than what is expensive. Sometimes you pay more only for the packaging. So look beyond packaging and get or pay or go for the value. So compare the price and the value. But my advice is that you always look at the value. Once you're sure of the value, I'm sure you can pay anything for it, any price for it, once you're sure of the value, right? Number 17, think the way wealthy people think. If you have followed through all of these rules, you will understand that it's a pattern. And if you know anyone around you who is well-to-do, some of them, you already start to identify that this relates to so and so, because that is common among everyone who is already accumulating wealth or on their way to doing so. So they have a pattern of thinking, and it's not because they want to separate themselves, it's because of the level at which they are operating. So until you start to think like one, you may never become one. And learn the art of managing money. You must learn the art of managing money. It can be very deceptive, especially when you have a lot of it at once. So if you do not learn the art before it comes, it will shock you that it will disappear as soon as it comes to you. So we must learn the art of managing money. And lastly, never, never, never envy anyone. Never envy anyone, no matter how rich they have become. Even when they decide not to help you when you ask for one. Do not envy them. Do not be angry. Just seek to learn what they do and also do it, especially if there are people close to you. You can ask questions, but of course it has to be legal. What do they do that is legal, that's making them make a lot of money? Learn instead of getting angry and becoming envious. Envy does not help anyone become better in any way at all. So instead of envying, just ask to learn, and you are already on your way to becoming rich or financially free. All right, thank you for watching till the end. My name is Ali Taufik again, and in case you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like our videos, and share with your friends. All right, guys, you have not come this far only to give up. you have not invested your time to watch this video 18 of the rules in part 3 and probably the part 2 and part 1 only to give up. Now it is becoming heated and becoming serious. You probably already know some of the things discussed in the part 2 and 3. But one question you should ask yourself is, I know I already know some of these things, but do I do them? I leave the answer to your discretion. You know what the truth is. And if you do them, how honestly and sincerely do you do them? The ball now is in your court. It's up to us to choose to change it for good. And of course, it all will not happen in one day. For some of the rules, it takes a lot of discipline. For many of them are things we're not used to doing. And for some of them, there are things we already know and probably know that we do them once in a while. But now it is time to make them a habit. It is time to get serious with things. Some of them are probably behavioral. That is, you may already have possessed some of these habits, and if you don't, there are things we can learn. I quite understand that behavior is something that's quite difficult to change. But if we have the burning desire to change things for good, if we have the burning desire to understand these rules and play by them, I assure us that we all can learn and be better at it. So it's up to us to choose what we want to do. Whether to watch all of these videos, spend all the time we have, and go back and do nothing, or decide right now that you are going to do what it takes to change it for better. Of course, it's not something that will happen automatically because we have watched this video. It's a continuous quest, and the decision we make today will either help us in the quest for accumulation of wealth, or further dissuade us and separate us from what we ought to get, who we ought to become, and of course, accumulating wealth. So I want to encourage you. I am going to add a few more rules that we can also work with. But I want to encourage us. Do not just watch this. Do not invest all of this time only to go back and do nothing. We all can be better at it, and we all can really accumulate wealth to the extent we want. It takes just one decision, and that's it. All right, quickly, the additional points, just to add to what we have learned so far, is that now that you have known the 18 rules, and this 18, in addition to the one we studied in part 2, here are a few additional rules that we can work with. So now that you know some of these things, it is high time you develop a plan. Have a plan. There is no how you're going to go about it without a plan. If it's possible, get a new note, a new pen, and start writing down what you want to do, what you want to start doing, how you want to do it, and probably make a calculation of what you need to do them or to achieve those things. Have a plan. You have to have a plan. Nothing, nothing is um, going to be achieved without a plan, unless you hope to, or unless you just want to take a stroll, or you probably just playing. If you really mean business and you want to achieve this, you have to have a plan. You have to come up with remember we talked about even knowing the how, the when, and where you hope to make these things happen for yourself. So you have to have a plan about what you want to start doing, a plan about when you hope to start doing them, a plan about how you are going to do them, a plan about what you need and where you can get these things, a plan about how you are going to manage your time in order to achieve these things. You have to get down to work and draw out your plan. This is very, very urgent and important. This will help us a lot in our journey to accumulating wealth. It's not so difficult. Just get a pen and a book and start to think about it. In fact, I like you to do it when you are in a good state of mind. This will allow you to think straight and really analyze the options before you, and then before you go ahead, choose which one you think you can do. And some of them do not really come easy, but it's high time you make that tough decision. For that decision you are going to make today will be something you'll be proud of in the future. Now, next is that get your money under control. I don't know how much you already earn, but whatever it is, whether big or small, get it under control. Know what goes out and what comes in, your expenses and income. You should be able to get a good grasp of them, so that even in your sleep you can talk about, you can give an account of what you spend and what you earn, and let it sink and let it be even in your subconsciousness. Some of these things, like everyday expenses, you need to keep track of them and make sure that you get hold of it. Let you understand, get to know where your money goes and where your money comes from, and the large chunk of it. Make sure that you know what gives you the large chunk of your income and give it your utmost attention, so you can even grow it better than it is now. So it's up to us to really put ourselves together and get our finance under control. Get your expenses under control and make sure that you are on top of the game. If you are not controlling what goes out and what comes in, there is going to be a big trouble. All your plans are not going to work in your favor. So it's a matter of urgency that you put that under control first before anything else. So even if you earn 1,000 naira a month, get it under control. Make sure that you can account for how it is spent, and also have an explanation for why you earn that much or that small, depending on you. So if you can get this under control, it will go a long way to help us. Now, the next point I want to also look at is that we must never ever fake it. Don't ever fake it, because sometimes we miss people who should have helped us in our journey because we try to fake things. So don't fake it, don't impress anybody, just be yourself and go about your normal work. Go about your normal work, follow your plans, and make sure you execute them as best as you can. No faking, don't try to impress anybody, don't try to look like anyone, but you can learn from people who have something good to offer, who have achieved what you want to achieve. But don't fake it, don't try to impress them, don't try to look like anyone, don't try to make it look like you've arrived when you have just started. No, just be yourself and do your job, right? And this brings me to the next point. Think of alternative. What are you doing now? How much do you earn? Is there alternative to it? Can you do it differently? Do you have more time that you can invest in something? Can you do more? Think of alternative. Don't just relax. If what you earn now, no matter how much you earn, you can do more. You can create time for more. So ask yourself, can I do more? Can I earn more? Can I create time to earn more? Can I multiply what I am already doing? Think of alternative. Or can I even do something entirely different from what I'm doing now while keeping this one? Or do I even have to totally abandon what I'm doing now to get something new that might give me a better revenue? It's up to you. Think and be sincere about all of these answers. Sincerity matters. It is very, very important that we are sincere about the way we answer this question. And lastly, I want us to know that no matter how old we are now, or we have become, or no matter how much we have tried, it is never too late to start. You can start today. Even if you are 99 years old, you can start to do something. At least it gives you that sense of fulfillment. And if you have put in all you have got and it's still not working, I tell you, you might just be one more trial away from doing what you really have always wanted to do. So you can try again. You can start today, no matter what the condition is. Remember, whatever condition, whatever excuse or excuses you have, there is always someone whose condition is worst and they are doing what they ought to do. So give yourself no excuse. Go all out and do the needful, for we are doing it after all for our future self, and your future and the regeneration yet unborn will thank you for making a good decision today. Thanks for watching, and I'm really glad that we are on this journey together. See you in another video, and from me, bye for now.